Welcome to the Rise Above Summit, and this is part of the social dimension. And our speaker is Janet Cleary. And let me tell you a little bit about Janet. She is a creative, energetic, and well regarded international speaker and coach who brings innovative and playful process to audiences and private clients. Janet has helped thousands of people go from stress to ease, fear to personal power, and anxiety to productivity, using the power of curiosity and the camera. Ms. Caleri is the founder of her photographic methodology and visible transitions, and a product of her own having to overcome her own overwhelming hardships like recent traumatic brain injury. Well, welcome to the Rise Above Summit, Janet. We are looking forward to hearing what you have to share with us.
Thanks, Patty. Hi, everyone.
Yes, wonderful. And so, Janet, what is your business? Because it sounds interesting. I found just even talking about it and introducing you interesting. So I'd like to find out more.
Great, thank you. My business is called Visible Transitions, and that's actually also the name of the photographic methodology that I invented. And as you mentioned, it helps people go from overwhelmed to overjoyed, one photo at a time. So using curiosity, it's my question mark there, and a smartphone camera, you can overcome resistance and upset. And I work mainly with women, mostly mothers and families. And if you are having issues with communication or stress, like right now we're in a what I call corona apocalypse, right? We're in this place all together where things are very different, and we've had to our brains have been required to adapt in ways that we never thought. So you can solve some of these problems and the upset with current issues or even personal upsets using a smartphone. So visible transitions, what it does is it creates imagery of your emotions and your feelings, and that actually helps you to manage your reaction to the feelings and emotions.
Wow. That's interesting. That is very interesting.
Yeah, because we're often wanting to push the emotions away or attach to them instead of being present and what I call like in a neutral, calm state. The second use of this methodology is tracking subtle evidences of your progress. So basically, like tracking small wins, and this helps to motivate and build confidence and develop actually self-compassion, because we can often have that inner critic running the show. And it also shows evidence that you care about something. And the third piece of this methodology is capturing what triggers your emotions. So I call this the neutrality practice. And that's where you take a picture of something you're upset with or someone you're upset with. And then you do this practice where you neutralize your story, because most of our suffering is caused from our stories, our opinions that we think are truth, but they're actually not truth. So that's it in a nutshell. So that's called visible transition. So you get to look through a different lens. You can use any camera, but smartphones is so convenient. You get to look through a different lens instead of your context of beliefs and opinions and whatnot. You can look through a different context and actually see the truth of what's there.
Oh, Janet, that's fantastic. That's so interesting. And it subconsciously it makes so much sense. But it's fantastic that you've been able to develop a business and have that be able to work and make a difference for people. Oh, it's wonderful. Wonderful.
It's a blessing.
Yes. So Janet, how did it come into fruition? In other words, what is the origin for the current purpose-driven business that you've created?
Awesome. awesome question. Well, um, at the moment I decided to completely surrender into humility, I received visible transitions. The first key process that I mentioned about capturing emotions and feelings. And I received that at the most trying moment of my life when I wanted to quit. And what was going on is I was down and out with adrenal exhaustion. And in fact, I did have the swine flu as well. And I think that perpetuated the adrenal exhaustion. And so visible transitions was a miracle response to a crucial need I had. And maybe you who are listening, you have a crucial need too. So the first message was take pictures of your emotions and feelings. And so at that point, my relationship with my emotions were a blockage. So I had a need, and I found the solution and made sacrifices to bring it to others like you. So what happened is um, the the message was take pictures of your emotions and feelings, and so I did. So I grabbed my cell phone and I started taking like abstract pantomime. I was pantomiming emotions, um, literal, like I would spell the emotion out on a piece of paper. So I started taking pictures of those emotions in those way, in that way. And what I immediately noticed was a reduction in depression, stress, overwhelm, and a surge of vitality, confidence, personal power, and a sense of resilience. And so the more I practiced, the more it released the emotional blockages. So, through devoting my life since then, um, using the practice on myself, and especially the last year with my brain injury and assisting clients, um, I've just derived more specific practices around this. And so that's one piece of the three-part process. And that process was my saving grace, and it's visible transitions.
Oh, that's such a beautiful story, Janet. It really is. So, let me ask you, what is the impact that you are here to create? What's the example of how you are creating impact? Because I can see it because I understand because I work with people needing this type of thing. But people that aren't familiar with it, this is a way for to get them to understand a little better.
Thank you. Yeah. Um, well, first of all, I just feel really blessed and privileged that this information came to me and that I used it, and it helped me heal and develop resilience and move forward in my life to be a contribution again. And so I turned it into a service, and it's super fun and simple. So the impact that I've been creating is, first of all, in general, like helping people feel safe and have a sense of belonging in their realness. And for those of you who are listening, you might relate to this, right? Like, isn't it important for us to get to be real with people and feel safe doing that? I was just having a conversation with an 80-year-old woman about that, just like having these spaces to be real and also to experience ease, joy, confidence in the midst of chaos, because there's no sense in suffering in the middle of what we're all enduring right now, right? There's awful things happening, and there are many gifts and blessings, and um, and it's not to discount the awful parts. It's how can you experience ease and joy and confidence in the middle of that, and that's the impact that me and visible transitions has. So I love showing others that they can live realistically in a space of sincere curiosity. So you see my question mark again. Curiosity and resistance, those are two of my favorite topics. when we're in a place of that sincere curiosity, um, we don't have the resistance, and we don't have the resentment, and we don't have that anger and the stress and the upset. Meaning, when I say we don't have it, meaning it's not driving us, it's not in the driver's seat. We're in the driver's seat, and we can be calm and listen. Listen, listen, listen. It's great to take a listen. So, for the listeners in that state, you can navigate each day without believing your thoughts, without believing outside information, and rather rely on your intuition and your gut and your wisdom, and see what happens. So the other impact is like, don't believe a word I say, do the practice. And then follow that nudge, and it's not always easy, but the truth, I know that saying, the truth sets you free. I really believe it.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So Janet, your method puts a lot of value on that tracking of those small steps in valuing the progress over perfection. So how does this method work to create sustainable habit forming behaviors for people?
Great question. Yeah. So sustainable habit forming behaviors is the key here. And well, first of all, the brain hates change.
True.
And all of our brains, the last year or so, have had to adapt in ways, and it can be so painful. Oh my gosh! So again, like, how can we have ease and joy even in that? So therefore, it's up to us to make the brain feel safe. Otherwise, as I spoke to, the resistance rises and ensues, and it blocks our natural order of creating and solving and taking action and moving forward. And all of us collectively, wow, have we been in a space of creating and solving and taking action. So, as well, each time we take a picture with intention, so in this process, you literally have an intention. You're not just like, let me grab a photo of the sunset. You're taking a picture with intention, the feeling, the emotion, tracking the subtle win or the resistance. Okay. When you're taking a picture with intention, we become more present. Yay! There's no upset in being present. Also, new neurons are developed, which support new patterns and habits. So the more pictures you take with intention, you're doing yourself a favor in developing new patterns and habits. You're literally doing yourself a favor. And the moment of looking through a different lens, it actually activates a hit of dopamine and serotonin, which are our feel-good chemicals. Now, Patti, most importantly, the moment when we click a little step we're taking, we're celebrating. We're celebrating. And we don't celebrate enough. We don't celebrate the big things, but we certainly don't celebrate the small stuff enough. So again, your brain hates change. So if you're clicking little subtle steps, your brain is getting on board with what's coming down the path. And without the subtle steps, there is no success or happy outcome. And the question to everyone is, why suffer with resistance along the way? Right? So let's enjoy each moment. And even if you don't like the moment, like when I had my accident a year or so ago, there are plenty of pictures that people would be like, okay, but enjoy even that moment, because it leads to something. There's some kind of message there, and so that helps the brain be confident. And confidence leads to consistency. So back to this habit forming behavior, confidence leads to consistency. And consistency leads to success and habit formation.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it, Janet. So much of this ties into what I do with my clients in my work. So Oh, this is perfect. It is perfect. And I hope that our attendees are taking this information in and really looking at the possibility that it has for helping them on their journey to achieving their dreams and goals.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is it about, and this is so interesting. What is it about a photograph that in and of itself is so impactful and transformative for people? I know there's connections for people. There's deep emotional connections to fragrances and,
Mm-hmm.
different things like that. But the photograph, we all know when we look at photographs that it helps trigger memories, the good, the bad, the ugly. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's it, but since you're the specialist in this, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. One thing I want to say about a photograph is when let's just say that there were five of us and we were looking at the same photograph, all of us would have a different experience.
True.
And we don't see the same thing, right? Because that context of beliefs and opinions and conditioning and whatnot. So a photograph is, for me, it's truth. It captures the truth. But again, it's got to be through curiosity, not the context of opinions and right.
Right.
So that's one thing I want to say about a photograph. And of course, for me, first of all, it's evidence that beauty exists everywhere, and it's evidence that you matter and that you exist with a purpose. It's also evidence of a subtle or big step. And I cannot stress enough these subtle wins cannot stress the impact, even when we think we're going two steps back. A photograph also is like, for me, it's embracing a moment as sacred. You'll never get that gift back. Like that moment is a gift, and
True.
you'll never get it back. And it's unique, and you were influential in that experience. Like that moment that you took a picture of the mountains or the person or maybe your pets or whatever it is, like you were influential in that experience. And that's what I have to say about a photograph. I've been photographing. I've had a camera in my hand. I since I can remember.
Wow. That is, that it's a beautiful thing, and how you've been able to take that a passion that you had, because apparently you have had a passion for photography since you were little, but to actually take that now and use it as a tool to help so many people in so many different ways. This is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
This is fantastic.
It's a very simple somatic process that gets you out of your head and more into your body, into your heart, and it helps you get into that curious, playful, childlike state, and you in that moment you're in a state of listening. Like let's just say you're in conversation or conflict with someone. It's a place where you can be a better listener. It can help you to get into I call it the parasympathetic state. So that's the state where your nervous system is calm versus the fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
And for people who are healing from whatever it is, trauma, illness, heartache, you can do that when you're in that calm state, in the parasympathetic state. We can't heal when we're go, 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 fight or flight.
Wonderful.
And just that moment, just taking that moment to take a picture is so so powerful. But it's going to be with intention.
Right, right.
So that goes back to the three-step process that I have.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, I just have a question. It specifically works, and I can see now, just thinking about it, it would work specifically better with the photographs than video clips. You know, video, I mean, I'm sure video may help to some
Hmm.
extent, but the photographs are just the simplistic part of it that
The
makes that
simplistic,
connection.
yeah, yeah. The idea is that it's very simple because let's take technology back in a way where it's helpful for us, and this is a way to take technology back into your own hands and have it be very simple and helpful. Whereas most of us are very distracted with this da 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 da, and that's not what this process is about, right? It's bringing you present. I definitely have clients and myself. We have done some video for sure, and it's absolutely helpful.
Right, right. Well,
Mhm.
oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us speaking on this summit under, and under the social dimension because this has everything to do with your social interactions with the world and with yourself, you know.
Yes, especially now, you've probably noticed that there's a lot of people needing to be right or thinking their opinions are the truth or trying to make somebody think differently. And these are all the resistant states that they're separating us. So my message is consistently about, actually, this is my quote: what if we were curious rather than reactive towards those who are reactive rather than curious?
Oh, wonderful, Janet. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any special gifts or anything for the attendees?
I do.
Okay.
um, I have it's a PDF download, and it's called Three Keys to More Ease. And it shows you the three-step process that I've just subtly touched upon today. And it'll show you the process that you can go through if you choose. So, again, don't believe a word that I say. Um, Go to my website, and we'll provide you the link. Download the PDF, work through the steps, and have fun, and you'll see how you're just less reactive and you're more calm and you're happier and you're more present and you're just kind of letting things go. So that's my gift for you.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, can you share your website? Can you spell it out for people?
Sure thing. It's visibletransitions.com. So VisibleTransitions, visibletransitions.com.
Wonderful. And thank you for that. And thank you for being with us for the social dimension.
I am so excited to be here. Patti, thank you so much for having me.